I'm going to show you how to make the tire for the Automoblox car. So we're going to want a standard IPT. You're going to want to go ahead and make a new sketch. I'm going to sketch a circle from the origin. So make sure you get right on the middle there. We'll dimension that at 1.65. Then we'll offset a circle to the inside of that, a dimension of 0.1. And I can finish that sketch and then extrude the tire 0.55 inches. The next step is going to be to create a work plane in the middle of the tire. So I'll click work plane, click and put the work plane on the surface, and I'll type in a dimension of negative 0.55 divided by 2, and that'll put the work plane in the middle of the object. Then we're going to want to create a sketch on that work plane, and we're going to want to project some geometry. So I projected those lines out to this sketch, and then I'm going to want to use the offset tool to make another circle, and this one should be 0.03 away from that one. Next thing I'm going to do is get a construction line. I'm going to draw it from the origin straight up. This is going to help us create that rib that goes in the middle of the tire. Click off construction line, and then I'm just going to make 2 lines up from the center, and the distance of those lines or the dimension of them doesn't really matter right now because we're going to trim them later. So once you have that done, you can then dimension the angle of this. It should be 4 degrees, and so I'll click on those 2 lines and put an angular dimension in of 4 degrees. And then I can use the trim tool to trim this, so all I have left is that rib shape that I want for my car. I'll go ahead and finish that, and we can come in and we can extrude it. So I can click on that rib, and we want to do a symmetric extrusion, so I'll click right there for symmetric, and I'll say 0.55 minus 0.1, and then that way it'll be 0.05 in from each side. When you have that done, then we'll use the circular pattern tool to pattern that rib all the way around. So I'll click on it, I'll click rotation axis, and then I'll click on the circle I want it to rotate around, and then we'll put 15 of those ribs in side of our tire. The last step we have to do is to create the little ridge that goes in the middle. So I'll create another sketch on this work plane. I'll grab my circle tool and I'll draw a circle. Well, first I'll have to project this geometry, so I'll click and I'll project that circle and that edge, and I'll draw 2 circles. I'll draw one to that point and one to that point. Then I can finish that sketch, and I want to come in here and extrude this object out. We're going to want to make it a symmetric extrusion, and we want it to be 0.05, and that'll put that little ridge on the inside of our car. The last thing you're going to want to do with this tire is go ahead and turn off the work plane. So you never want to delete a work plane, but we can right click on it and turn the visibility off so we don't have to look at it anymore. And then you'll want to make sure you go ahead and save this part in your Automoblox folder as tire.